The Druid, a class unlike any other, synonymous with variety, flexibility, and of course, fur affinity. The Druid is unquestionably the most adaptable class for a player who wants to accomplish pretty much anything in the world of Warcraft that takes their fancy. This is due to the Druid having 4 specs compared to the usual 3, or 2 if you're a child. But is the class for you, as a new or returning player? Maybe you want to hone your skills as an experienced veteran Druid with the help of a concise, well-made guide. Well, I don't know what you're doing here, because Vulgrin does not make guides. Vulgrin makes only the dankest videos on many WoW topics, including the classes, to stave off his inevitable downward spiral into a fried chicken smelling, ginseng poisoned alcoholic mess. Just kidding, I'm already there. But for real, I don't make guides, let's get that straight. And if I was going to make a guide, it would be on something I'm already a true master of, with words of wisdom worth sharing, like how to be a swell guy that all the ladies will subscribe to on YouTube. Or something like that, at any rate. Ironically though, if that was my intention, making a guide for the Druid would probably be a good idea. It would serve the same purpose, as in my experience, a solid majority of female WoW players main either Hunter or Druid. Who would have thought it? Girls like animals regardless of if they're real or virtual. Very quirky. But I will concede that if I'm going to make videos of any kind on people's favourite classes, which they may have played for longer than some current players have been alive, even if those videos are just deliberately irreverent, half-baked comedy skits with audio editing so bad that my audience are now known as the Shattered Eardrum Clan, then I should probably do a little bit of research. And in this case, I took on board that positive feedback and decided to walk the path of the Druid by seeking out the greatest concentration of Druid players that I could find in-game. That led me to the Lion's Pride Inn in Goldshire on my local RP server. Now I want to monetize my channel and keep it monetized so that I can collect enough doubloons to get fat off KFC and yum-yums whilst playing WoW for a living, not to mention of course the nectar of the gods. Tried Pacific Punch for the first time today actually. Solid 10 out of 10. As a result of this quest for coins, the story of my time in Goldshire itself will be covered in another specially quarantined video. I don't want my channel to be demonetized, and the simple fact is that what went down in that place of scum and villainy just is too hot for TV. Instead, let me show you the aftermath. Observe. How long has he been here?
A few days, sir. I must confess, I don't think I've ever seen a patient in such a poor condition.
Indeed. Listen, Johnson. It's Johnson, right?
Actually, it's Jameson, sir.
Sure thing, Johnson. Look, I'm taking on personal responsibility for the treatment of this patient. Do you have his file? Thank you. I'll see him now. Good evening. My name is Archdruid Furion of the Cenarian Circle. I've been looking through your file and, well, it's clear you're suffering from some intense delusions.
I can see them, even when I dream.
Right. Well, as I said, I've read your file and I can confirm that none of these events actually occurred. You're very sick, son. You need help.
You don't understand. The place was full of dancing naked gnomes, offering their services. But the Druids were the worst. Their total roleplay profiles. Oh God.
Let's try and work through your fears together. I have here your initial interview notes. This is quite extraordinary. You seem to have created an entire imaginary den of depravity within the sleepy village of Goldshire.
They're real. I saw them doing things to each other.
Why don't we read an extract from these interview notes?
What? Why? Why would we do that?
Hang on, don't worry. Any expletives have been replaced with the term candy to make this easier for you. This particular extract is from one of the total roleplay profiles of a druid you say you interacted with in Goldshire.
No.
And I understand that Total Roleplay 2 is an add-on that roleplayers use to flesh out the character they play, correct? Well, I guess I'll just start reading. Cytheria is a petite Kaldori from the Starbreeze village area of Teldrassil, eager to spend her time with males and females of all races. She does, however, have a preference for muscular Worgen females. Smaller than most of her kind, she is plump and possessed of a pair of enormous, constantly lactating candies, which can barely be contained by her Oathclaw wargarb. She is naturally submissive, with her candy hair being shaved into an arrow pointing towards her pierced candy invitingly. She loves nothing more than to be roughly candied by an alpha worgen so inclined.
Stop!
Additionally, Cytheria can be played as an enormous dominant moonkin possessed of a huge 2-foot-long throbbing horse candy and the—
Enough! Enough! For the love of God, please just stop talking, please!
Alright, I think we both get the idea, but son, you need to understand, these visions are just figments of your own imagination.
No, they're real, and I can prove it. Look, these sunglasses were given to me by some strange white dude in an alleyway near Goldshire. I didn't understand then, but when he fought me and forced me to put them on, I saw these players for what they truly were. My eyes are open now. What? How did he get in here without being searched? Where did he get those sunglasses? Security! You just put them on and then you can see— Oh my God.
Uh-oh. And we're back in the room. Now we'll pick up that story a little later, but for now, let's get back to talking about the Druid itself. Now, it was always my opinion, and that of most others that I've met playing World of Warcraft, that the Druid was arguably the most useless class in vanilla, and this was probably due to it being so much of a jack-of-all-trades class. Back then, when all but a handful of classes only had one viable spec, a class made itself desirable for endgame content by doing one or at most two things really well. Take the Rogue for example. Doesn't need mana so it can't go and does tremendous DPS. It doesn't need tons of utility, doesn't need to perform multiple roles like healing or tanking as well as DPS, and that combination of constant uptime with consistently high damage made it very desirable. The Warrior. Not only could it pull off ridiculous melee DPS, but it was considered the only viable tank in vanilla. Mages did huge damage, Warlocks brought damage and essential utility, you get the picture. But what about the Druid? My view is that in those halcyon days of WoW's beginning, the Druid, whilst very adaptable even then, didn't have enough of a toolkit in one specific area for it to be as strong as the other, more specifically designed classes. The upshot of this, however, is that the Druid benefited more than maybe any other class from overall improvements to class design in the Burning Crusade and beyond, meaning that by Wrath, you could, as a Druid player, play any of the roles in the game to a high level, if you were competent. So what, you may be asking yourself, are the 4 specs which you can play as a Druid? Well, let your boy Big Daddy V explain. You've got one spec, which appears to be designed for people who delight in staring at a bear's anus throughout their experience playing World of Warcraft. There's one which, like the Shaman spec of the same name, is focused around the power of the Longbottom Leaf, healing your allies using herbal remedies, whilst preaching the benefits of CBD. Also, you can play a spec focused on taking the form of a giant star chicken, incinerating your foes with a solar-charged laser beam hotter than the inside of a Greg's steak bake. Additionally, as we've already heard, based on my unfortunate Goldshire experience, it seems that this form is also equipped with a 2-handed mace hidden in your pants, if you catch my drift. And finally, you've got a literal copycat spec, which thinks that it's a rogue, although on reflection, you might actually be better than rogues when it comes to stealth, because I honestly never seem to see anyone playing this spec anymore. Oof, that's harsh even for my standards. For real though, it seems like I only ever see people playing Balance Arresto these days, and I wonder if that's just because of how strong those specs always seem to be. As a Restoration Druid, you can put out amazing healing over time, freeing you up to push forward rather than remain static, whilst Balance Druids are synonymous with microwaving groups of mobs with extreme prejudice. Speaking of which, there's even the option for you to choose not to play as a giant star chicken and instead take on your normal form, but wreathed in astral, ghostly light, very ethereal, but we both know that you stay as a giant killer Furby because anything else is heresy. As for Feral and Guardian, I don't see a lot of them out there. Occasionally I will bump into a Guardian Druid, but it's kind of rare these days in my experience, and I'm not sure whether that's due to the gameplay being quite simple and maybe boring compared to the satisfaction of a prop paladin or blood death knight. or if it's just because it genuinely does mean staring at a giant furry ursine arse whilst you're playing. Then again, these are Druid players, maybe they see that as a bonus. As for Feral, I think it comes down to the way the spec itself actually plays. It's always been a spec for niche hipsters, and that's fair enough, but it's also well known for the amount of plate spinning action you have to do, and to be honest, most people don't want to play as a juggler masquerading as Simba. Now I know that there are a lot of dedicated Feral players out there who are perfectly happy with how the spec works right now, and I don't have a dog or cat in this case in the race, so I won't tell you any differently. All I'll say is that if Feral is to become popular with a new generation of players, it could do with changes. And because transmog matters far more than any pesky gameplay mechanics, the most important of these changes in my opinion needs to be a Saberon form. Make it happen, Ian. And we all know that as a druid, you of course are a colossal hippie. You are obsessed with forests. You guys and girls respect the foliage. You love a big bush. But one thing that I know as well as any druid is that money doesn't grow on trees, which is why I'm taking this moment to draw your attention to my 100% organic Patreon account. Head over and check out the exclusive content that's available. Every subscription comes with a ironclad guarantee that at least 50% of each and every donation will be spent on planting trees to help reforestation efforts in the Barrens. Johnson, how did this man get through check-in with these sunglasses? You know what? It doesn't matter. I want him out of here, and his account deleted immediately, do you understand? Sir, there may be a problem. What now? I have it on good authority that he's got a Twitter account now, sir. Deleting his account might prove problematic if he can get a message out to the outside world. Damn it! This isn't good. Look, I need you to get the boss on the line. Okay, stay calm. This isn't your fault. Here goes. Hello, sir. It's Archdruid Furion here at the facility. Yes, sir, I'm quite well. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm just baking a money cake.
Oh, well, I hope that's going splendidly for you, sir.
Yeah, I would never have guessed how many people would pay to buy a cash shop clown suit. Kinda retarded, really.
Sir, I know you're busy, but I'm calling you because... Look, we have a code red situation here, sir.
Oh, do we need to delay the expansion again?
Yes, sir, actually, but that's another matter entirely. Code red is... well, it's the Goldshire situation, sir. I'm concerned that it's about to get out to the wider community, and they're going to find out what we're running down there.
Right, well, do you have the suspect in hand?
Yes, sir.
Then just delete his account if he says anything. That's the usual protocol.
I understand, sir, it's just... well, it's Vulgrin, sir, and he's got a Twitter account now. It could turn ugly.
Okay, well in that case, send him to the monastery. They should deal with the problem.
Very good, sir. Right away. Bye-bye. Johnson, I need you to get the High Inquisitor on the phone. Tell him it's an alpha priority task which needs to be handled with the utmost discretion. We have an interloper here who must be transported to the monastery for censure immediately. Yes, sir. Oh, and Johnson, the boss wants this man to never see the light of day again, so I want to make sure that the paladins are properly motivated when they deal with him, so... tell him he said that the judgment set looks like garbage. Whoa, what a cliffhanger. Definitely worth sticking around for the next episode and sharing the video with all other people who play World of Warcraft, or just like listening to the sensual tones and seductive words of the only WoW content creator still in possession of a full head of hair. To all you druids out there, keep on planting flowers and fertilizing them with your bear poop. It's great having you guys around. Just try not to yiff, okay? Thanks for watching, everyone. I have a few newish things planned in the coming weeks, alongside the remaining class videos, so stay tuned for that. Best wishes to you all. Ta-ta for now. And as always, thank you very much for watching. You guys are what makes this channel worthwhile for me. Bye-bye.